त्रिलोकस्य वरदो परमेष्टिनो तथामा उत्तमश्लोक सन्तो सत्या महाशिष यथा युवां त्रिलोकस्य वरदो परमेष्टिनो तथामा उत्तमश्लोक सन्तो सत्या महाशिष यथा युवां त्रिलोकस्य परमेष्टितो तथामा उत्तमश्लोक सन्तु सत्या महास्थितो इमां लोकस्य तथामा उत्तमश्लोक सन्तु सत्या महाशिषा यथामं कुलस्य अजिस यथा युवं त्रिलोकस्य वरदो परमेष्टिनो तथा मा उत्तमश्लोक सन्तु सत्य महाशिना यथा युवं त्रिलोकस्य वरदो परमेष्टिनो तथा मा उत्तमश्लोक सन्तु सत्य महाशिषा यथा since yuam both of you trilokasya of the three worlds varadho givers of benedictions paramestino the supreme rulers tatha therefore may my uttama shloka o lord who are praised with excellent verses santu may become satya fulfilled maha great ambitions. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. You are both the supreme rulers and benedictors of the three worlds. Therefore, my Lord, Uttama Shloka, may my ambitions be fulfilled by your grace. So there is no purport, so we'll continue till we reach 18th verse, where there is a purport. So I'll just recite the verse and the translation. Iti abhistuya varadam Srinivasam Shriyasah Tannishwaryo Paranam Dattvachamanam Archayet. Sri Sukadev Goswami continued, thus one should worship Lord Vishnu, who is known as Srinivas, along with Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, by offering prayers according to the process mentioned above. After removing all the paraphernalia of worship, one should offer them water to wash their hands and mouths, and then one should worship them again. Tatastu vitastotrena bhakti pravena chetasa yajño chistam avagraya punar abhyarchayedharim. Thereafter, with devotion and humility, one should offer prayers to the Lord with Mother Lakshmi. Then one should smell the remnants of the food offered and then again worship the Lord and Lakshmi ji. Patim cha paraya bhaktya mahapurusha chetasa prestaster uppanamet prema shila swayampati बिभ्र्यात् सर्वकर्माणि patnya uccha vachani cha. Keeping her husband as the representative of the Supreme Person, a wife should worship him with an alloyed devotion by offering him prasad. Thus, husband, being very pleased with his wife, should engage himself in the affairs of his family. The family relationship of husband and wife should be established spiritually according to the process mentioned above. Kritam ekatarenapi dampatyorubhayorapi patnyam kuryad anarhayam patir etat samahita. Between the husband and wife, one person is sufficient to execute this devotional service. Because of their good relationship, both of them will enjoy the result. Therefore, if the wife is unable to execute this process, the husband should carefully do so, and the faithful wife will share the results. So, there is a purport to this 18th verse. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The relationship between husband and wife is firmly established when the wife is faithful and the husband sincere. Then, even if the wife, being weaker, is unable to execute devotional service with her husband, if she is chaste and sincere, she shares half of her husband's activities. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Sya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamine iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kant Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam class. So today this verse which we read are spoken by Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. Of course, it's a long story till we have reached here where Maharaj Parikshit was very curious to to know that how is it from Diti's womb, demigods were born. Usually from Diti, asuras are born. So Maharaj Parikshit was very curious. So you all, those, of course, most of you are coming daily, so I don't want to go back into. So eventually, of course, Diti gave birth to 49 Maruts, and they were supposed to be enemies of Indra, but they all became so friendly with Indra that they went back with Indra to the heavenly planets. But in this verse and the subsequent verses, till the last one, the 18th, so I will focus more on the 18th verse, where Prabhupada is speaking about husband and wife relationship. The translation, I repeat again, it says, between the husband and wife, one person is sufficient to execute this devotional service. Because of their good relationship, both of them will enjoy the results. Therefore, if the wife is unable to execute this process, the husband should carefully do so, and the faithful wife will share the result. So, one may question now this is sixth canto. Already, time is running out for Maharaj Parikshit. He has only 7 days to live. And Sukadev Goswami is going into the details of all these rituals, and especially about husband and wife relationship. I mean, what is this, You think that Maharaj Parikshit is interested in knowing about husband and wife relationship? He has already left his kingdom, he's left his family, he's completely renounced and he's about to die and he's taking shelter of, and all the sadhus have come, the sages, the munis and all. And Sukadev Goswami is speaking, and this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, talking about husband and wife. One sense, oh, this is something mundane. Why will Maharaj Parikshit be interested in knowing this? Now, this is why Bhagavatam, nothing will be spoken without any proper purpose. Bhagavatam is Amala Puran. Anyone who has little envy and all, it just rejects all those principles of dharma, which talks about artha, dharma, kama, moksha, out. Pure devotional service. Then why is he talking about husband and wife? She'll get the benefit if he does it. It's very serious. Sukadev Goswami is not an ordinary person. Pure. He has nothing for himself. He will only offer things for the welfare of others, and that too only to elevate a person's consciousness. So he is saying, Maharaj Parikshit, he should know this. Imagine, he should know this because he is talking in context to Kashyapa Muni and Diti. How Kashyapa Muni made his wife do this vrata, Pumsavana vrata. And then he is bringing up this, that how husband and wife, how did Kashyapa Muni transform the whole thing from where it began? Just brought devotional mood. And especially on the last, all verses talking about Lakshmi Narayan. Lakshmi and Narayan, isn't it? How they should, and especially for last few verses, we are talking about who is Lakshmi and all. So the last verse which talks about husband and wife relationship, well, we have an assembly here. Those who are brahmacharis, of course, they have nothing to do with the husband and wife. I don't want any wife. And there are people, I don't see anyone who is planning to get married. I don't know, maybe, yes, no. And those who are not very sure, but those who are already married for many years. Of course, the subject is not something which I am qualified to speak, but it sounds, yesterday Radha Madan Gopal Prabhu, you speak. He told me yesterday, अरे ये तो गृहस्थों का topic है. So, so anyway, traditionally, if you see, traditionally, you go to the Western world, you go anywhere, it may be marriage in the church or, many other places, but it's always a very sacred place. Marriages always are in a very sacred, either it's in the church, masjid, or temple, because The relationship is very sacred and there is a very serious commitment. It's not something very ordinary. And plus, in that type of relationship, there is such mutual. What you heard, no? What is the word saying? Even if wife is inefficient, she is not able to do it. If the husband is doing it, कैसा लग रहा है? वाइफ को कैसा लग रहा है? अरे वाह तू कर यार. हाँ मैं बैठती हूँ घर में बैठते आराम से नो. No, it's not like that. Wife is faithful and chaste for some reason. Now that will come to some reason. And the husband is very sincere. Even if she is not, because of her husband's, she gets the same benefit. Is it spoken? These things are spoken? It's not, right? Marriage is a big, at least the current state, marriage as an institute is collapsing. There's no one, people are asking, do you need to marry? And here in Bhagavatam, it is coming about what is marriage. So this is the sacredness, and in all traditions, actually, if you see what they say, whether it's in the church or I've not gone to the masjid, but they say that when they take the vow, they become one. Now, what do we mean by one? You mean they lose their individuality, they merge? No. They become one in spirit. Whatever is the purpose of life. Of course, there needs to be a purpose in life. And in that purpose, they are together. Sometimes me, sometimes you, but always us together. So in that spirit, that oneness, that real cooperation. So I was just hearing just one class of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He's saying Grastas, they invite deities home, elaborate. They invite the Brahmanas, and the deities are from Jaipur, and such big celebration, and the deities are there. But if the husband and wife, they don't see each other in the spirit, the deities are there as good as they're not there. Lakshmi and Narayan, they are only in Murti form. What does that mean? They will not reciprocate. Just keeping the deities and having issues. Issues can be serious. And it's very natural that, husband and wife come together. Different egos are there. So natural to be very angry or sometimes disgusted or, sometimes feel that why did I get married? I made a mistake. All these things can, but still in the spirit that we are here for some higher principle. Especially when devotees marry. They marry with some principle. We are here for this. And anything happens at the lower level, we have to resolve that. So he says that the deities are there, but as good as they are not there. But in a house, if there is this type of a congenial relationship where the husband is very much sincerely doing and the wife is very faithful and they have a very mutual type of understanding, even if the deities are not there, Lakshmi Narayan stays in that house. Deities are not there. So now this is what Sukadeva Goswami wants to tell to Maharaj Parikshit. He is bringing in the devotion what Lakshmi and Narayan have, isn't it? One sense, Radha and Krishna, they are one but they become two. So that relationship is bringing up here in this context where what did Kashyapa Muni do to Diti? And he's infusing this to Maharaj Parikshit who's about to die to know that this is devotion. You cannot be separated. So Grahastha life is not meant for, of course there is a lot of freedom and it's the standard of renunciation may not be so high, but the essence is devotion which Maharaj Parikshit should know even if he is about to die. So Kali Yuga obviously is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. And well, we are so degraded now, of course. India is also catching up with the divorce rate. I used to hear 25 years back, Maharaj would say that in the Western world, 75% of the marriages end in divorce in the first 3 years. And now, if you see the statistics here, so why I'm speaking this? Because you don't know. Why have you got married? What is the sacredness? What is the seriousness? If you don't know, obviously you're going to see each other as an object for enjoyment. And when your enjoyment is not fulfilled, change it. I can't tolerate, I can't. I want to change. That's not what is Grahastha life for, what Sukadeva Goswami is saying. So he brings out and one more thing. Of course, there are people who are not so bad. They are very civilized, one sense. Even if they have differences, there are differences. But for some higher principle, they will stay, especially for the children. Oh, we have children now, forget it. We will stay for the children together. But then the issues are there. Issues are there. Now, can he continue? Actually, it is a well known fact that how it affects the children. If in a house the husband is, shouting, screaming, yelling, is using sometimes bad words, the children are hearing. And you may say, so what? What does the child understand? I am giving him education, I am giving him clothes, I am giving him food, I am buying toys, I am doing all, and father and mother should do it. But psychologically, deep inside their consciousness, it creates a big scar. And when they grow up later in their life, they bring it out in a very different way, the personality. And most of the psychologists, most of the problems, they go back to find out how was your upbringing? How did you see your parents? And most of them, the scars have arisen there. And even if suppose, no, we don't have any fight, we don't have just silence, not talking to each other. That also the children can perceive. We may say, well, what the child understands. Children perceive. They see it and nothing is visible. It's not some physical injury. It's a very emotional trauma which later comes up, surfaces. And then you wonder, why is this boy behaving like this? Why is he like this? What causes him? So this is the reason why it definitely affects children. So this is another dimension to what Sukadeva Goswami is bringing out. But anyway, to keep our too much of philosophy will be so just about this husband and wife relationship. Once in South India Yatra, Maharaj in Kurma Kshetra. I don't know how many of you have gone to Kurma Kshetra. So Kurma Kshetra, he told the story about. So this is a story about a king and a queen. The king and the queen both are very chaste and devoted. And one day the queen was worshipping the deities inside the temple, and it was an Ekadashi day. And she was absorbed in worshipping. The king knocked the door, and she just opened the door, and he said, I want to enjoy you now. So she said, my God, today is Ekadashi, and I'm worshipping my deities, and my husband is asking, I can't say no. He's an husband. Neither I can say yes. So she said, give me some time. She closes the door. She goes back to the deities and she prays intensely, not for her own dignity. Of course, this body, my Lord, is meant for you to serve you. But now my husband is saying that he wants to enjoy me. I don't want to defile this body. So please help me. And same thing, I don't want him to be so degraded. I want to save him. I want to protect him. I want to help him. Now whom is she praying for? For her husband. He has a problem. She is strong. So she's intensely praying, and the king is waiting outside, and he's becoming restless, and then he can't wait. He just opens the door of the temple. And when he opens the door of the temple, there is a heavy gush of water coming out from the temple, from where it came into. And he is so scared, he starts running, and the It's like a tidal wave is chasing him. He goes to the valleys, he goes to the mountains. It's chasing him. And suddenly the king realizes, my God, I didn't know that my wife is so advanced. This can't be possible. She has to be something very special. And when this thought comes in his mind, the tidal, that wave subsides. And he, of course, cools down, obviously, because it was such a big tidal wave. Cool. He cools, and then he curses himself that what type of person I am. What a fallen person, What is this? How can I think like this? See, such a saint. He goes and, he seeks, of course, forgiveness. Of course, she is not the one to accept that. She is really worshipping her husband. She knows who is her husband. And she was just praying for him. She didn't condemn him. Whatever it is, she said, okay, he's my husband. And that is the time Narad Muni comes and Narad Muni tells him, you should worship Kurma. So that is how the deities of Kurma manifested, and that's the place called Kurma Kshetra. So this is, well, in this case, she was strong, he was weak, and she put everything, and their relationship just prospered. Of course, then one more very familiar story what we have is about the Nagapatnis. Now, Kalia, by nature, such an envious person. He would just be, just poison will be coming out. The vapors of the poison would just rise in the sky, and the birds flying, they will die. The water was contaminated. The coward boys collapsed. In this state, Krishna came. Of course, he had this purpose that, so he first in the beginning, of course, he was entangled, and all the Brajvasis were in anxiety. And this is, of course, in devotional life, anxiety will always be there about. And that anxiety is very purifying. So he just wanted to see how much they really love him. But the most important thing what we need to know is he jumped on the hoods of Kalia. Kalia's hoods were so soft and slippery, and he started dancing on them. And we started dancing on them. All the poisons came out, the blood came out, and there was nothing left. And the Nagapatnis saw that he is becoming humble. Otherwise, they used to think, what type of husband is such an envious person? Disgusting. Why do you want to know? We have nothing to do with him. But when they saw that Krishna was dancing on them and things came up, and Kalia became very sober and humble. And that is the time the Nagapatnis started again. Now, this time again, the Nagapatnis are praying to Krishna. What do you expect from him? He's a snake. He's an envious person. He has only poison coming out. Please forgive me. He has changed now. You look at him. He has changed. And Kalia is also hearing his wife's prayers. And this is how there's a big, most of the Asuras were killed, but Kalia was not killed. Big transformation came in Kalias. That is again because of Nagapatni's prayers. They were praying and he was hearing, he was repeating. And it is said in other Puranas that the Lord, he rides on Kalia, the one who was an Asura, but he uses him as a vehicle. He gave him that position. That's what is Kalia. So again, this time, obviously, the wife was very fixed and strong, but they never, but they said it's his nature, what to do. But they prayed and they brought a big transformation. And now we come back to today's verse, which is spoken about Kashyapa Muni and Diti. Diti developed a very revengeful mood. My sons were killed because of Indra, Vishnu came and killed. I want a son. I want a son who can kill Indra. And she knew that her husband, Kashyap Muni, had all the potential to give her a son. She worshipped him. She had so much respect for him. But she was also honest. So she did all best service, pleased him, and he said, "What do you want?" I said, "I want a son." Fine, so what? But I want a son, not ordinary son. I want a son who can kill. Oh my God, what is this wrong with my wife? Now, in this case, Kashyap Muni was, but Diti had this mood about, I had to kill. But you see how Kashyap Muni behaved. Now, Kashyap Muni could have said, "Nonsense, you stupid. How can you think like this? Are you gone mad? You're thinking about killing Indra?" He knew that this will not work because she was burning with revenge. Now, Kashyap Muni tricked her. What a trick, isn't it? Huh? Very gentle. Oh, of course, yes. You will have a son, but you have to follow this Pumsavana Vrat. But there is one problem. You follow for the whole year, but if you make a mistake, then instead of the son who is born to kill Indra, he'll become friend of Indra. So she didn't think so seriously about it. Huh? She said, I will not commit any mistake. And she was so fixed and she performed the vrata so intensely, but then she failed somewhere. And that is the time, of course, Indra, you know the story that Indra is another personality we don't understand. Uh, how is it that, one time I heard about Indra saying that, oh, Indra is so civilized. When he wanted to kill the child in the womb of Kayadu, so he said, he kidnapped her. He said, I'm waiting for the child to be born and then I'll kill him. That means something very abominable, no? To go inside the womb and it's a really cold-blooded murder, isn't it? So child is helpless and you go inside and kill. But here you see that Indra was willing to do that also. I don't know how he does this, and he's also devotee. Then Krishna always gives him high position. This is for us to understand. This question was asked once that Maharaj, but why Indra is given such high position? But he gets into all this trouble. But what about his character and this? So Maharaj said that, see, this can happen to Indra. So what about us? So you should be so careful, so careful. The message is that, what about us? That is the message. So anyway, so this is what she did, and everything changed. What began with revenge, what began from Indra as, with caution and murder to kill, and he was so eventual, 7 times, then each piece is into 7 times. All this is because of how Kashyap Muni tricked his wife to engage in Pumsavana Vrata, and then her attitude changed. Indra's attitude changed. Indra seek forgiveness. My God, I'm sorry. I came with this intention in disguise. I came in disguise. Just trying. He was serving her so nicely, and she started thinking, my God, he's like my son. Indra is like a son because she's Aditi's, and they are co-wives. How can I think like this? So she became very. So the point what we want to bring here is not, of course, about the vrata. So we began the class saying that why has this vrata come here? Such rituals, so intense rituals, and Maharaj Parikshit, why is he interested in hearing all these rituals and husband? This type of relationship where there is, that is not different from devotion to Lakshmi Narayan. It's pure devotion. So this is the uh, message what we derive. So that is why it is said, where there is this type of relationship, of course, it is easy for to speak. I am here sitting in front of my wife, and we have lived together for so many years. She knows me, I know her. It's very. But this, the relationship, of course, is very much, very challenging. It is not something you don't become angry or don't get. But in spite of that, if there is a understanding of higher principles in life, huh, to know why are we here for, there is a lot of thing to be achieved, especially in context to developing devotion. So now we come to the point why Sukadeva Goswami wanted to speak to Maharaj Parikshit. Time is running out. It must be the fourth or day. Sixth canto means at least third day, fourth day. Third day. Only 4 days are left. We have to give, and all the sages are there. Munis are there. Who is interested in hearing it? No, it is not something ordinary. It is pure devotion to Lakshmi Narayan. So that is why Bhagavad Gita, in the ninth chapter, it says one very nice verse which can be related to this relationship, where it says, Ananya Chintayanto Mam, Ye Jana Pari Upasate, Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam, Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. Now, Yoga Kshema Vahamyam they use in life insurance. You see? Yoga Kshema Vahamyam. We are there to come, to carry it. Well, actually, what it means here is one who is ananya. There is no other objects of worship. Chinta is just focused. And ejana pari upasate. Upasate means one who worships. The one who is worshipping. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam. Completely. For him, what he has is preserved. And what he doesn't have, the Lord personally comes and carries. So between husband and wife, it is sometimes the wife who is weak, the husband, he is praying. And sometimes it is the husband who is weak, the wife is, the one story is what we heard. So this type of a relationship where, especially of course here it is mentioned about the husband, isn't it? The 18th verse it says about husband. Now, how do you see? Someone may say, oh my God, it's wonderful to have a husband, a wife, and oh, let him go, let him do his devotion nicely. Yes, yes, Prabhu, yes, yes, you do it. That's not it. Someone who is very faithful, because of some reason, it may be either way. Either way, the partner takes full responsibility. Oh my God, he's having problems, so let me take full intense prayers or some sadhana or chanting or some ratha. It's not a ritual with this purpose, just to elevate each other's consciousness. That is bhakti. That is grahastha life. That is husband-wife relationship. Easy to speak, but there's nothing wrong in speaking because it's coming from Bhagavatam. So if that essence, that's what is Sukadeva Goswami. And many times people ask, अरे ये तो हमारा पर्सनल लाइफ का यार शादी का प्रॉब्लम है ये सन्यासी को क्या पता चलेगा उनको क्या मालूम है but the problem is they are at a very high level of consciousness they can see it where is the problem it's very clear where is the problem huh so one of the major thing what we hear of course that once lady went to so we have a few minutes she went to Maharaj face to face also. I don't know my husband doesn't like what I cook I don't know he doesn't like it so how do you know that and I never ever appreciated never said anything it's like I think doesn't what to live with a man who doesn't have anything for his wife so Maharaj called husband so you don't like what she cooks of course I like then have you told her this do I have to tell this do I have to tell this that I appreciate it this is a man's ego man's ego is appreciation is it's not necessary it has to come through the words not till it comes through the mouth he will never be she will never be convinced so these dynamics of husband and wife relationship is something which what you speak and what you interpret it, and what happens, and it can lead to such big rift, and until still someone intervenes to resolve, it's already wide apart. There is one more very nice, interesting thing. This is all Kalyuga science, So this I heard from Maharaj. This that she was an she was an Italian, and he was an American. They got married. Now within 1 year, the husband says, "I can't live with her." Well, why? She treats me like a dog. Can any man live if a wife is treating him like a dog? So he called his wife. Yes, wife. He says that you are very disrespectful to him. So he asked the husband, why you feel like, that she's treating you like a dog? So the loaf of bread in Italy, so this is the culture of Italy, and he's an American. In Italy, the last part of the bread is offered to the most respectful person in the family. And in America, it is discarded to the dog. So he saw she's treating it as, and she was actually doing it out of respect. So cultural differences, no proper communication, and there was a. So when it was resolved, so it has to begin from there. So, but then Bhagavatam is giving this type of understanding where what is a husband, who is a wife, and what is the purpose, and how do we resolve, and how we go. It's takes a lot of efforts and lot of from both sides, both sides, a lot of tolerance. So Maharaj, in many of the marriages, he said no relationship can survive if there is no tolerance, there is no forgiveness, there is no appreciation, there is no encouragement. If these things are not there, it is very difficult. So we conclude our today's Bhagavatam class titled Pumsavana Ritualistic Ceremony. Titled ritual, but ritual actually in our country, we are very famous for rituals, but then no one knows what it is done for. You become very much attached to the ritual. Then you ask, why are you doing it? That I don't know. It's my family going on, and now I'm doing it out of fear. If I don't do it, something bad will happen. No one knows. But actually, these rituals are like real vehicles. Huh? They are like Prabhupada says that they are like formulas. Huh? Actually, someone understands, then there is no interfaith problems will not be there. 5 plus 5 is 10. 6 plus 4 is also 10. 3 plus 7 is also 10. But if you understand the formula, what it is meant for, the purpose is to invoke, develop, elevate consciousness. That's what we are here for, right? We are here for elevating our consciousness. And when that rises, all the lower differences are resolved. All these principles are resolved. The problem is many times I miss because we have spent more time here. This is the problem is no one wants to intensify their devotional activities, but then they have a problem and they want to solve this problem. How it can be solved? If you're not making any attempt to raise your consciousness by accepting from religious principles, practice it sincerely, then there's a question of I don't know what they say in the outside world. People go for some mediation and conflict resolution. I mean, if there is no religious principles involved, there is no spirituality. There is no higher purpose in life for what it is that obviously the whoever the counselor is going to just. I think this will not work. Answer is you have to go for separation. So that is one side, and here it is Bhagavatam talking about the sacredness, the sweetness, the glorification, the intensity. In all this, so that's how Prabhupada, in the translation, he says that how this relationship is, even if one person is, for some reason, is not done, the other person covers it up. And this way it becomes very sacred. Both ways. Both ways. Sometimes husband, sometimes a wife. And this way they carry on progressing towards the goal of life, taking care of all of the responsibilities. This is devotion in context to Grahastha life, and especially here between Kashyap Muni and Aditi. Thank you very much for your attentive hearing, and well, this is what we need to be discussing more, right? We should be discussing more community and improving our sadhana, understanding the value of what is. Oh, now one question. Does it mean that a brahmachari needs a wife? Absolutely no. But the principle is about relationship. I don't think and so much glorification. That means, oh, this is so such a sacred relationship. No, brahmacharis, they have their guru and their god brothers. The principle is same. Same. Huh? When someone is little weaker, the other person goes and pulls him up. Come on. So it can go anyway, whichever side it. And they develop such intense relationship between each other. There is no need for them to ever think in their life about entering Grastashram. There is no need at all, because just that everything is taken care in that type of relationship. So both ways, Grahastha ashram, Brahmacharya ashram, but the dynamics, the standard of renunciation is very high, and in Grahastha ashram there's a lot of liberty. There's a lot of the renunciation standards are not so high, but together taking inspiration from the people who are standards of renunciation is high. The Grahastha also wants to carry on. So this way, things flourish. Hare Krishna. So you have some anyone wants any comments, especially questions? Any, of course, this is related to grasthas and relationship development. Yes,
No, in the end of the class, you said the brahmacharis don't need a wife
they don't need a wife
because they have when they have a wonderful relationship.
with
Then
provided
whatever.
provided.
But why don't that same applies to the girls also? If they have a wonderful relationship and they have wonderful god sister, why they need to get married?
So in
Why
other
they
words,
need a husband?
you want to answer this? No, it's a very nice question, but it is now. This is with all respect to the way their body is. It is always need to be protected. A man's body and a woman body, a lot of difference, physical level, emotional also. They need to be protected. So they are protected by their parents when they are unmarried, by their husband when they are married, later in their life by their son. That's why usually a woman can't go alone in the no. Man can, Nidai Chaitanya can go and in any jungle he can go and sleep alone. A woman cannot do that. So that reason, but the opportunity to elevate your consciousness is available. They can also rise to the same level what a sannyasi does. It's not that they don't have an opportunity to raise their consciousness to one who has taken sannyas. She can stay with the family, with her grandchildren, but still her consciousness can be. So that's why there is no need for brahmacharini ashram. But Prabhupada, because he saw that these young girls were not with their parents, they were just roaming around. He saw them, they need protection, and they are not with their parents. The parents were supposed to protect them. So he arranged, okay, you come and stay in the temple. But then your question, of course, if someone is so fixed, so determined, well, someone can also live a life, but by nature, she always should be with a male person, ideally. So that when I said that, of course, opportunity is there. When I said that they become together, they become one. That means there is no question about separation, right? One sense. Separation is only when one person dies or the husband takes sannyas. That's the only time. And a chaste woman, of course, it is not proper for now to, if I speak, people will not understand what is sati. When husband dies, she thinks, what is my life meant for? My life was meant only for, but if he is not there, what I'm living for? The pain of separation is more intense than the fire burning the body. But of course, the British people, and then of course it started becoming ritual and all. So that sense, there is your. I hope I answered your question that if anyone is very fixed about it, can be an exceptional case. But overall, the Vedic principle says that a woman should get married, and she is, for by her nature, her things get fulfilled. She has her own purpose in this varnashrama. She plays that role, and she can achieve also the goal of. Anyone wants to add anything? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your your question is answered.
The highest knowledge is given in Bhagavatam.
Yes.
But you see, the highest marriages breaking are in ISKCON, not outside. Most of the marriages going failure in ISKCON, percentage wise,
Yeah.
than outside, even after having such high philosophy. So, what is the issue then?
Well, as far as I have heard, it is. You also know it. I mean, we have seen cases. Most of the time, the differences are not based on spiritual reason. It is always something material. I don't like the. It's like one lady asked, I have some problem. What is the problem? Is he not allowing you to follow for regular? No, no, no. He is very good. Is he saying that you break any principles? Is he breaking? No, no, no. Is he saying that Krishna is not the supreme personality of God? No, 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 no. Everything is okay. What is the problem? The problem is not that. The problem is something material, purely material, ego clashes, ego differences, and then that leads to separation. As far as each other is concerned, I am not qualified to say about, but overall we have seen that things which happen is because of some type of, it is, unless of course it is something spiritual, then there it is valid. Someone is uh, saying about that Krishna doesn't have a form and you have to just follow me, something spiritual. I hope I have answered your question about. Uh, Most of the time it is, but it can be still. But if there is good association and there is some nice, mediation, you know it, many marriages among devotees. But it's not that we are in Kali Yuga. Quarrel and hypocrisy is pandemic. It's pandemic, right? No one could, none of us could escape COVID virus, right? So same thing is quarrel and hypocrisy is pandemic. So it is going to affect. So these things are not something shocking. Hare Krishna. I'll take his question because he wanted to ask it. Yes, Prabhu. Then we'll stop.
Just a curiosity, Prabhuji, or a clarification, basically. In the verse, it is said that if the husband is sincere and the wife is chaste, then either or anybody does devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, both of them enjoy the benefits of that devotional service. So, I just wanted clarification on the example you gave about Kalia. I don't know. Kalia doing devotional service is a far out idea for me. Means he may not be doing anything, but of course the Nag Patnis were devotees of the Lord, and still Kalia getting the mercy uh, means
After he started dancing on his head.
huh. Yeah, of course, Krishna started
Yeah,
dancing on his.
all this nature came out and then he became subdued. So this is
So
just
it's is
the
it is the verse says that if anyone is unable, if anyone is unable to do devotional service because of some reasons,
Some
both
reason.
some
Some reason.
reasons.
It is also said because women go through a lot of problem. So that is a time, especially during their pregnancy.
uh,
The changes what they go through, they may not be able to chant their rounds. And especially when they're raising their children, they may not be able to chant their rounds. There are so many things where the husband comes to cover up because that is a relationship. He comes up to. And same thing we heard about Sumiti where the husband is going down, the wife comes to cover him up. That is the sacredness of the relationship. It is talking about the sacredness of the relationship in context to devotion to Radha and Krishna. So it is not different from devotion.
and if we expand this concept from the seventh canto, like Narsimdev says this to Prahlad Maharaj, that 21 generations have been liberated because you have performed devotional service.
Hmm.
So is this kind of same, or like making up for others in the family?
Yes, yes,
Or
yes. But it is not that those people who are in that generations, they immediately get pure devotion. They get an opportunity, and but it's definitely beneficial. So just on the lighter side, I remember Prem Lila once went to Maharaj and asked, Maharaj, when will my father be a devotee? His answer was, first you become a devotee. She was thinking she's a devotee. We all think we are devotees. So he said, first you become a devotee. So then it is applicable. It's not just we accept. You remember? No, he's saying all generations. 21. This how do we understand it? But it is said. Narsinga Dev has already blessed Prahlad. Prahlad, why are you talking about your father? You're 21 up, 21 down, just because one person in the family has become devotee, everyone gets. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is still that the maid servant and the dog and the other family members in the house, they all also get the benefit because of. Well, that doesn't mean that, oh, घर में
This
एक भक्त है. वो गौरांग प्रभु का famous है ना कुछ. When he first time went to his hometown and when he heard these words, these family members, one of his uncle came, hey, any problem you have, you come to me, huh? You continue your devotional service. Huh? You continue. Huh? You have any problem, I'm there to help you. Don't give up. See what to
no
say?
part of this question. So I just remember one incident happening in Radha Gopinath. We had one of our god sister. Now she was pakka devotee. Her husband was not. Husband was not in the sense he didn't follow any ISKCON rules. Okay. And she wanted a separation. And Maharaj went on saying, don't do it. Kept on insisting, don't do it.
Yes.
And she went to the extent of asking all Maharaj's god brother because she wanted to influence, through them, she wanted to influence Maharaj to say yes for a
Yes.
separation.
Yes.
And she would talk to all the god brothers and god sisters and say, I'm suffering, it's because of this and because of that. And they would talk to Maharaj. Maharaj, this girl, like this. Maharaj said, her husband is a very nice person. He's just not taking up to Krishna consciousness.
Correct.
But he's a wonderful person. She should faithfully serve him. He'll be a devotee one day. And Prabhu, you'll not believe it. If she leaves, she'll suffer. She walked out, she left, and she's really now, children are nowhere. She's not with the kids. Everything is going very negative for her. So this is, like Lakshmi Narayan. If the husband and wife have this higher knowledge that we are supposed to be like Lakshmi Narayan and accept it and try to cooperate. The biggest mistake is we don't cooperate when we have a differences. Differences are going to be there, but we don't cooperate with each other with the differences. But if husband and wife have this higher knowledge, we just need to cooperate, understand each other what they're going through, then it will be very nice. So just that, I think somewhere it's given that we have to follow
Yeah,
there with the Lakshmi Narayan. They are an example for that. So
Prabhupada uses the word congenial
yeah,
relationships, cooperation.
yeah,
All these
cooperation.
things we repeatedly hear, all these ideal
Yeah.
things, and when it comes to real life, it's a big challenge. But anyway, thank you for you bringing out this thing that some example where she wanted to leave her husband because he was not becoming a devotee. So there is no need. Is he supporting you? Yes.
Yes.
Is he giving you freedom? Yes. He's allowing you to go to the temple? Yes. but he's not a devotee. So yeah, I know what you're. Anyway, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गृहस्थ आश्रम की नहीं बोले। अरे ये बहुत पावरफुल हस्बैंड वाइफ का है। थैंक यू गंगानाथ चैतन्य प्रभु आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस। मेरे को उन्होंने राधा मदन गोपाल प्रभु ने कल यमुना आरती में बोला।
जी ने अभी बताया ना एग्जांपल है, एक टाइम मैंने एग्जांपल सुना, लेकिन
ऑपोजिट ही है।
उसमें कैसा है कि मुझे मतलब थोड़ा सा वो ऐसा नहीं, मतलब वो सजी ड्यूटी था,
हाँ।
सजी होने के बाद भक्त बन गई हस्बैंड। बाप रे
और मुझे दिया था आपने।
कल का वो तो फिक्स था ऑलरेडी। आज का मतलब किसको दिया था हमने? इसलिए ये लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस
4-5 दिन पहले मुझे बोलता, मैं देखा नहीं, बस मुझे नहीं पता था ये बात।
सुखदेव गोस्वामी बोल रहे हैं, आपको ही बोलना था।
नहीं, मैं बाहर जाने वाला हूँ।
लेकिन कभी ब्रह्मचारी को भी ये टॉपिक सुनना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो लोग प्रीच करते कहाँ पे गृहस्थ को। तो उन लोग
सही बात।
कौन सी तो समझते हैं
नहीं लोग दे आर हैंडलिंग गृहस्थ लाइफ।
हाँ,
हम जनरल प्रीचिंग करते हैं, स्पेसिफिक प्रीचिंग
नहीं,
के लिए इधर
लेकिन
भेजते हैं।
जनरल में करेंगे तो, लेकिन ब्रह्मचारी का इंटेंशन क्या रहता है कि ब्रह्मचारी के वो एक ही टॉपिक पे रहते हैं। हम ये ब्रह्मचारी फैमिली के थ्रू वो सोचते नहीं।
Sometimes people ask that he is a brahmachari, is never married. उसको क्या मालूम है यार?
नहीं नहीं, मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ।
घर में क्या
स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक्स आते हैं ना गृहस्थ के,
सुखदेव गोस्वामी कैसा लेके आया?
वो गृहस्थ काउंसलर्स के
पावरफुल।
जाते जाते महीने में जाते एक बार।
It's good.
क्योंकि हम उसमें नहीं बोल सकते कुछ वैसा है। हम जनरल बोल सकते हैं जो
आपने
भागवत
डॉग का बोला,
डॉग आर ट्रीटेड नाइस एक्चुअली, डॉग इज नॉट डिसग्रेस।
मीटिंग में लेकर दो, वो उसको ब्रेड का लो लास्ट पर।
डॉग इज आर गुड।
चलो 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 यार, चलो हरे कृष्णा। हमारा मेन उद्देश्य था कि